Okay, I will be recording essay 2 here. All right, I'll start my assessment. So, part 1 says, create a function, abbreviate, which takes in a name object. So, input would be an object. It returns the first name and last initial, which appears to be a string. So they give us a sales team array of objects. And wants us to return a string. So name object. Takes in a name object. Assume that means it takes in the sales team array, although it's called a name object. I don't see why you would pass in just part of the array. So how the sales team array is structured is that sales team at X would equal to one person's information. And there we would be able to access the keys. So I'd have a for loop. And I'm going to assign a convenience variable. I'm going to call it person. And that would refer to sales team at index I. So then I would be able to access each person's data. All right. Has the variable referencing the data structure as an argument to your. Oh, now that I reread it, it actually does want to take in a name object, which is strange because the original thing is an array. So I've changed my input to be a user generate object with first and last name as keys. So I know I want the first name's value in its entirety and the last name's value's first letter. I will look at some object methods in MDN. To string. Thinking the stringify method would be useful here. So stringify the object and capture whatever between the first name, capture all the data that the space and one letter after the space. Okay. But that wouldn't work very well because you'd also have the first and last key. I think I might stringify just the last name. All right. Name object at first. I'll save that to a variable. Console log it just to be sure. I mean, yes. And then JSON.stringify. Take a string of the last name. Against. So to get the first letter of the last name, which is the last initial, I would slice the string. And I'll refer to my notes here for a string slice. I think it's, you would say which index that you want to slice up to. 0, 1. Okay. Last initial. I'll call it as a variable. Okay, apparently it gets the quote mark, so let's ignore the quote mark by getting the slice of 1, index 1 to index 2. Since that gets index 1, non-inclusive of index 2. And I would return a string, which would be first name, last initial plus dot. Sorry, there's also a space between first name and last initial. Okay, that seems to work. Okay, second one, write a function, get employees from, takes in an array, like sales team. So the input would be an array. And a city, which would probably be a string, yes. And it returns an array that lists first name and last initial of each person. And that's it. And it says it will only contain the student, not the state. So let me take a look at the array that they have here. Sales team array. Okay, it does include the state. So you need to find some way to ignore the state. Thinking of doing substring or slice before the comma, or possibly to check if the city substring exists in the entire string. I know I need to iterate through the array to access objects. Each index of the array can be made into a person variable. For convenience. And then we can access the object values. So I'll start by writing my for loop. So this is my convenience variable called person, so I can access the value more easily. So we want first name, last initial, and first name, slash initial of those living in that city. Thinking I can use my function in part 1 for that. Okay, so first I'll check for the city. If person dot branch let me look for the method in MDN that shows whether this substring exists. I think it's called includes. Yeah. So includes takes search string. And will return true or false. Since we're going to go through this whole array, I'm going to have to put that into the for loop. So if their branch includes the name of the city, because the branch also includes the name of the state, we want to take and see if the city substring exists in there. We will check to see which people are there. And by doing that, well, let's just test if this works to begin with by seeing if the person name gets printed out. And I'll say, oops. Get employees from the name of the array is sales team and San Francisco. And it does return Hua, Jude, and Rolando as expected. But since we don't want their full name, we will call the abbreviate function on their name object, which is person.name. Oh yes, I need an array. So I'll call it for people in city, and I'll initialize it to be an empty array. And so every time this person is found, I will push it into the empty array. And then I'll return that array. And it runs like it should, which is nice. Okay. Part 3. Copy and paste sort equals function and its invocation. If I confirm that my get employees from part 2 passes the test, move on. If not, correct it. Okay. So I will do a literal copy and paste and run this assert equals. And the test passes. I'll remove the console log just to clean up my console. Okay, great. Now part 4, write a function, sales per branch, which returns an object with cities and total amount of the respective employees' sales. Okay. And it gives an example. So the input doesn't specify what it wants the input to be, so it could either be the array or the object, but I'll just take it to be the entire array. Because you're not trying to differentiate it by object, so I'll make the assumption that it takes in the entire array as an input. And the output will be an object with the city plus state as the key and the sales total as the value. Okay. So I'll need to make a variable holding the sales total. And the other input needs to be the city, so we can specify which city we want the sales from. I'm going to see if I can reuse any of the functions from earlier. And I will call the get employees function because I can identify which employee sales I need to look at. Okay. Does it output have the $? Output not. The input does. I'm not sure if $, will affect the addition, but I'll try here. Apparently it does. So I'll need to stringify the $ values to ignore $sign. Okay, upon looking at the object again, I don't need to put city as an input because we're printing it out for every city. So we're trying to find the total number of sales per each city. And there appear to be 5 cities. So okay. Function sales per branch takes in an array. So more total sales per branch. So that's a 0 in the beginning. Again, I'll iterate over this array. People in city return an array of which people are in which city. But now I'm trying to figure out how I would manipulate that to get the information I need. Without hard coding the name of the city. Give me a moment to think, please. You know, I actually don't think I need to use the previous function. But that will cause me to hard code. I'll make a dictionary of all the cities. Just so I can have a non-repeating list, I guess, of which city are involved. I'll again make a convenience variable. So var people equals for person is array I. Person. That branch is not defined. I'll set it to 0. So we can change that to the value later. Let's just do a check what's in that dictionary after I iterate it. It should have the name of the 5 cities. What's the name of the array again? Sales team. Austin, New York, Orlando, San Francisco, and Washington. Okay, great. And now I can iterate over the dictionary of cities. So, our property and dictionary. So I'm going to say each iteration of this for var property and dictionary, if the person's branch is the same as this property, we will add their number of sales to the running total. And then we will change the total that's currently held in the dictionary, which is 0, to the total sales after all the people in the state have been accounted for. Okay, so forgot. I wrote it here in my stub code, but I forgot to stringify, which I need to do. First, I'll stringify. Well, actually, this is already a string. I'll just take a substring. Substring. What is it called? A slice. Substring. See what the index start at 1. Okay. I'm just going to check if that is how it should be. And if that's the case, I'll convert it into integer. I think it's called number. Prototype. Huh. I don't know. I was pretty sure there was a way you could convert a string to an integer.
You good?
Like 5 more minutes. Then I'll do type of sales per person, just to be sure. Should be a number. It's undefined. Okay, however, it does add images. Great. And then I'm gonna set it back to 0 so that there's a new incrementer each time. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. So after the entire loop, after all iteration, after one iteration of the loop, it's supposed to have found anybody in one city, added their sales to the total, and then assign that to the dictionary at the key, which is the city's key. Types of sales per person is undefined. I need to figure out how to convert string to int in JavaScript. Number. So total sales. Okay, this is not working properly. Okay, this part's working properly. It does seem right to have it that way. However, no. If I put it outside the for loop, then it only put it in once. It's definitely not right either. So I really think after I after I've iterated through each person and added in their total sales, then I should be able to put it into the dictionary. But it's not working correctly. Console log sales per person that we're interested in and make sure. Okay, so Atlanta. I needed to have it after the loop. Actually, sorry, inside the loop. I think what's going on is that I'm not resetting it because it only does that if it's undefined. You're telling me 9 or 10. It's only 7:30.
Oh, I think he meant 8:30.
It's not 8:30. It's 7:30 right now.
I know, but we have to be at my house. That's why you don't need to be so constricted. So I'll just see you later. You can focus on your work. Bye. Bye.
I don't like you right now.
If you want to go with me right now.
I have something to do at 8.
I know. I have to.
Okay, then go. Okay, I'm thinking of writing a necessary equals function, but I don't think it'll help. Because it'll tell me what I already know. Let's see. See what the first property is. Ooh, property is not correct. I think. Actually, it should be correct. What I expect it is to be the key and the name of the city. It is. So the first iteration, it's Austin, Texas. So we should only get Austin people. So person.branch. Okay. Equal to property. It's totally unnecessary, but I'll make an array to have total per city. And push to see what it looks like. Okay, so what I noticed is that it's pushing every single value instead of just the one per city. Let's see why that's the case. Because my if statement seems solid. A person for branch equals property. There's only 5 properties, so I don't know why it's console logging all of these. Maybe I'm not using for correctly. Look at my note about objects. And for property and object. That's right. Should only print out 5. I think I would take this out of the loop. That would make some sense. Because from what I see, it keeps iterating and it shouldn't. So if I take it out of the loop, Austin, New York, Orlando, San Francisco. Okay. that should be right now. Okay. Can't believe I just stuck it in a loop. Should only be the people in Atlanta. Okay, in New York, as the case may be. So, salesperson, sales per person string. 8712. Just combine these into one person. Okay, I don't know why it skips all the way to the bottom. Okay, well, it makes sense, but why does it not take the others into account? Versus use out of scope. Okay, fine. Let's not use person. Let's use array I. That'd be pretty bad though. This should get every single person who is at this property in dictionary of cities. So dictionary of cities has Boston, New York, it's really not working perfectly. Okay. Person at branch is equal to property. That's the wrong person. I have to go into the loop again. A loop through the array again. I think that's what I'm missing. That's what's wrong. No, this is definitely right. I think the outer scope had some issues. This is array, and this is Y. That's sales. Substring Y. ship this one. I'm gonna set it to 0. It works properly. So now I know that what I did wrong was that I had it going too many times because I inserted this loop within the other one so I could reuse the person variable. But I decided not to reuse it. I took it out so I wouldn't iterate as many times. And I was also able to find out that I had to iterate through each person again, which is why at first I kept getting one single person's values. Okay, I will submit this now. Secret chest.